You're online.
Thank you very much, Chief Pinchas. Toda rabba. Baruch Hashem. Shalom, shalom lekulam. Tzadikim, tzadakot online, on Zoom, and also our followers at the different platforms. Welcome to our weekly limud. There I have got my master, the Chief Rabbi of Africa, Rabbi Pinchas Yair Shaddai. Welcome to our limud. And there we have got Tzaddik Kalomo and Tzaddiket Natalia. And the others I do not see on the screen. I believe we are all well. I miss Rabbi Hamidia and Tzaddik Zuko. I don't know where he is, but Besot Hashem, they will join us along the way. We will not make it long, but Besot Hashem, we will go as far as it will lead us, because we still have got another lesson to learn by my master, Besot Hashem. The parsha of the week. There are so many ramifications to it that brought about so many questions to me when I look at in navigating the states of our world, in our generation, in our lifetime, this very, very time. There are so many things that are going on, not only now, but ever since. And we look at the Torah, a person outside there from the Torah world, or perhaps this person is not a serious student of Torah, and they look at or she look at the Torah narratives from the Pshat, which is good. When the Torah says there was a mountain, yeah, there was a mountain. But one has to go beyond the surface to understand the things around you, around me, around us, the things that we experience. But we tend to ignore them, that they are not speaking to us. No, they are speaking to us. It's our limitations. It's our laziness. I'm not talking about those with challenges in learning Torah. I'm much more referring to those who are able to. The able to people. Because the situations of a life of a man defies the logic, it defies understanding. To a certain extent, when you just look at the things, it's just things. So I wanted to our learning today to dedicate a few minutes to engage one another. I have got a couple of questions. And for us who are following the ultra students as you are, as we are. And feel free, particularly those on Zoom, feel free. Number one, feel free to contribute, feel free to ask any question. Torah is about the questions. Torah is about the questions. Prophet did ask questions. And the head of the prophets, Moshe Rabbeinu alav shalom, asked many questions. Yeah, they did ask questions. So from there, we are learning, we learn that, well, for you to understand the things and how to go about the things is when you question or you ask questions. The parsha of this week is talking about to let people go. Beshalach. To let people go. What does that mean, to let people go? What does it apply to you? I mean, does it speak to you? If it speaks to you, then you must be able to identify the condition you are in. If it doesn't, maybe you have to ask what it means. Do we have got questions? Any question? My dear good friends, particularly on at Zoom. Those who I can see the names on the screen. Do we have got questions? Feel free. Sedeket Natalia, feel free to ask question, any question, or any contribution you wanted to make. Observation about the world, about your own life, about anything in the Torah. Yes, the mic is yours. Let us hear, please. Yes, Tzaddik Kalomo.
Yes. Good evening, Chief Rabbi.
Shalom, Tzaddik.
Yes. My question, this first question for today is more linked to the Parsha of the week, which Chief Rabbi have started off as well to say, what does it mean to say let the people go? Of course, going to where? To which place? And in what sense? And where are they coming from if they have to go? My understanding of this and how it probably applied to us as people who has been indoctrinated from childhood by this current system or systems, which really borders or implies slavery of the mind, Slavery of the body and slavery of the soul. Isn't that the same thing that one can sort of apply when you read the Pasha of the week where you say, let my people go? Are we not to say we need to cry out to say, can we be relieved from this captivity of the world in one way or another? The Israelis, they are captives were the Egyptians, if we take it in the literal sense of the physical world. But if we go beyond that, wouldn't this captivity be now in relation to those things that I have just mentioned, being captivity of slavery of the mind, slavery of the body, etc.? My contribution for now.
Tzaddik Kalomo. You have just finished my limud. You just finished my lesson today in a few words. I don't know what I don't know where to start from. Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem Itbarav. Any other question or contribution before we get it to the stuff? Okay. Bishata Dishmaya. Thank you very much to Tzaddik Kalomo for questions, provoking questions, and contribution. That's exactly the theme of our limud today, all of this time. You just, all Tzaddik Kalomo, as if he read my mind. As if he read my mind. We know there is a word, and it's not just a word called colonialism. What is colonialism? When you look at the word colonialism, you go by the definition, what they have rendered to it. They said it's to dominate, is to take occupation, it is to subjugate, is to control, is to suppress. All of this comes along with the word colonialism. Now, the rest of Africa, we have got a saying and we experience, we have got a history that we were colonized. And the people who wanted to say, no, there is only one country that was not colonized. And they said it's Ethiopia. But in a true sense, it's only one face of it. When we say, oh, no, they were not in Ethiopia, it's just one face. But they did not look at the different faces. The faces like, what is the social fabric? And what is their monetary system? Who truly controls the tools behind the financial institution? Who are the captains of industry in the country that we are saying is not colonized? Who are controlling the economy? What does it what controlling the economy really means? Does it mean it is in my hand, indigenous hands? Not as far as we know. If you are subjected to the regime of what is this called? IMF, the World Bank, and as long as you are also a member of the United Nations, remember, to a certain extent, you are under a certain regime. They dictate to what should be done in your country. Probably not your country, in their country. In their country. I call it their country. Why? Because whoever controls public institutions my sincere apology. If you do not have all these tools, this infrastructure, you cannot truly say that you are not colonized. You are. And I'm transferring this Beshlach to us, Bnei Israel. You may not be Bnei Israel, just my fellow African. Just being an African, my fellow African. Just as like Tzaddik Kaloma said, to let them go from where? And to where? Ariya Kadosh, Be'ezrat Hashem, we will touch it. Ariya Kadosh, in his book called Sefer Alikutim, on the Pasha of this week, there is a specific passage that I have selected that will answer. And they agree or disagree with the perception, the observation of Tzaddik Kalomo. And anyone who has got the same observation. And again, we will a little bit touch on the teaching of Rabbi Nechuni Hakane on his book, Sefer Apliya. There is a passage that we will discuss about. How he developed, not only developed, but he dissected certain words of Torah to enable us to see ourselves, just as like Tzaddik Kalom has indicated. Where are we going? Where did we come from? What is our situation? Colonialism does not necessarily mean your colonizers is present in your village, in your land. But it could also mean mentally, meaning spirituality. You are enslaved. You are a slave. And from all the angles that we see our, particularly Bnei Israel, in the continent of Africa, we are exactly in the same thing, in enslavement. For the past 7 centuries, even before that, because according to the Torah sages, particularly in Ezra, he said in his commentary, according to, based on, not according, but based on chapter 52 of Yeshayahu, and they were Pasuk 4, and they look at that time already. And this is the time of, this is exactly the time of Beshlach. He said, my people went to sojourn, not to stay. No, not to leave, but to stay. In Mitzrayim, in the Assyri. Colonized them, if you want to use the word colony or colonization. Enslaved them. Not only enslaved them, but also they took their land and they took their money. This is not the Chief Rabbinate of Africa saying. We are saying what the sages have seen, what they have received through generations. That is what they have said. In the Zohar, that people do not want us to read and to learn from, even he went on further to explain how to identify, not to how to identify these people. And these people who are being referred to as being enslaved by Assyria, our sages, the Zohar says, nations, all of these enslaved people were the subject of all nations, or were subjected to all nations, not some here or one there, but all nations. My dear good friend, which people on the face of the earth do you see fitting that description? Only the people of the continent of Africa. Only the people of the continent of Africa. And they do not want them to go. They do not want to let it go. They do not want also to let you go. But we will still see, Esok Hashem, in a few minutes, that this is our main challenge. Why? Because who is we? I'm talking about the Bantu Israelites, my fellow Africans. You may not be Bantu, you may not stem from the Bantu, But you being my fellow Africans, why is it a challenge? It's because you do not know that you are in trap. The Torah, the physical body, no matter how important it may seem to be, and it's not just seems to be, it's important because it's aligned, because it's a physical manifestation, or it parallels the spirituality called the soul. Just as you have got, just as we have got the physical limbs, so is the soul. So is the soul. So in other words, one could be a slave, a physical slave, and a spiritual slave. And it's all these are in the Torah. Now, why am I calling it a challenge? Because we don't realize it. We don't see it. We are enjoying it the moment. We are enjoying the amenities. But other nations, they are not interested in enjoying the amenities. They are busy every day, every moment, to create and to devise means, ways and means to keep the status quo. That you, as a slave person, must not realize, you must not have any tiny, or called iota, light to see where or how you are slave. That you should be trained all the time. You should be kept. You should be educated. That you should be the very one to maintain the status quo that is against you and is against me, without you realizing it. But others is not. And we will see how Arya Kadosh is helping us to understand where we are spiritually enslaved, mentally enslaved. My master, not long ago, just probably a week or 2 weeks ago, he carried a remote and said, or titled, why, okay, I'm using in my own word, why the Bantu Israelite has got so many difficulty to support the his fellow black leadership. Is this not a part of enslavement? Is this not a part of not knowing that you and I are being slaved and without realizing that we are slaves? Spiritually, yes, you can do well, you have got this and that, yes. But that's exactly the point. That's exactly they wanted you to be. That's exactly they wanted. That's how they designed the system. And I titled that as part of, not a part, Esi Zwama. Esi Zwama. What is Zwama? This is what is called filthiness. Dirty thing. All we are bumped with is just Zwama in our minds. The passage in Rabbi Nechunia Akane will tell us in a few moments. I called the Zwama of colonialization, all of colonialization effect is Zwama. Why Torah was not, for example, given when people were slaves? In Mitzrayim, yet we do have got so many midrashim, or not many midrashim, we do have got the sages of midrashim discussing that, for example, the law of Rosh Chodesh was given in Mitzrayim. Is that not a part of Torah? Yes, it is part of Torah. Yes, but the same Torah says, no, let my people go so that they can render me service. Yes, the Torah was not given as long as you are a slave. The Torah is not given. But, oh, wait a second, the Chief Rabbi Elnatan. We just mentioned that we are both physically and mentally or spiritually enslaved, but you are giving us Torah. What is the correlation? Or what is that not a contradiction? No, certainly not. Yes, for those who have been released and were privileged to see, not only to see, but were privileged to get out of the prison, are the very one now walking from one prison to another without truly being in prison. Walking from one water to another, telling them, my brother, my sister, we are still enslaved. The Torah could not be given while they were still in Mitzrayim. Why do we like colonialism so much? We do. Don't we? Yes, we do. Why am I saying this? I will not develop it, but I'm just hinting it. When you see, for example, last year, 2024, there were so many elections in different countries happening more or less at the same time. Election in political office. And you also witnessed that, well, probably you read, you have seen, we have heard remarks from the elected and the inaugurated head of state. What did they have to say? Coming to 2025, we see the entire continent of Africa, in a true sense, is set apart. The West against, the East against the South. Yeah. Conflict everywhere. And when you look at it, you and I, are the most who are on the forefront. My dear friend, my master gave us a limud some time ago, which we trace in this book. It's not in English. He said, when you look at, for example, the international laws, for you to go to another country, if you have to go and fight or whatever mission, in this case, I'm using a fight, because the context, I wanted to contextualize my point. We see that a country, to go to another country or to has to apply for a permission. No, I wanted to go to that country, even if it is not just, for any mission, just passing over that territory. You need to apply for a permission to enter the airspace of another territory. Otherwise, some countries would shoot you down, whether it's a civilian plane or not. Because they also do not know, they protect their space. The question is, how do I know the demarcation of the space? That now I'm in this space and I'm in that space. No, the Torah tells us that everything that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created is created the opposite. No country, not a country. No land is the same as the other. No country. No country. But the point is still remains. We are the very one on the fourth front to fight a brother. We are the very one. Why do we like colonialism? Still my question. Or don't we like colonialism? If we don't, what it shows that we don't like it? For example, they created fear, like, for example, the fear of death. I think Sadiq Kalomo did ask some time ago about the same thing. No, we are so running away. We do not want not chash v'shalom. I'm not wishing that. I'm not saying that people should wish to live in this world. No, there is a purpose of you coming into the world. There is also a purpose of you being in the world. There is a higher purpose. You did not discover it. It's unfortunate, but you are being encouraged to find why you are here. If you discover it, then you will work toward that goal. But if you are just here for the sake of, I'm enjoying this level of existence, it's unfortunate. You are the very victim, and they will make you a victim more than ever. That you should not live in this world. But we will see Be'ezrat Hashem. Be'ezrat Hashem. We will see in a few minutes who is truly controlling this thing called the goof, called the body. But you needed to take charge. But as of now, it's unfortunate. It's just an experiment piece of meat of somebody. Yeah. Why do we enjoy amenities. Why do we enjoy amenities? Okay, I enjoy having a big house. I enjoy having the so-called money. We know that that is not really money. We are enjoying it by having all this abundance of things. Yes, I do not struggle like anybody else. The suffering of another people, from whether it's in the same village or the same community, in the same city, or in the same thing called a country, I call them constituencies. Apparently, it's not your problem. No, Benishai, on the Pasha of this very week, but on Shana Shnia, the second year, the Lord that deals only with the Shabbat, he tells us the purpose of eating. What is the purpose of eating during the course of the week? And the purpose of eating on Shabbat. We will also touch a bit. We will also touch a bit on those aspects. Bezrat Hashem. So, this is how I was pondering it to understand things according to the Torah, or from the Torah perspective. Because from human perspective, you and I, it's unfortunate that we will not be able to understand. Let's go. Or any question on what I have said, my dear good friend? Any question, any reaction to what I have said? Feel free. This is an engagement class. I learned from my master all those years in a yeshiva, Kotzina Kadisha yeshiva. He engaged us to engage. Because this is what the Torah is. And he led us to understand the idea behind the word Hever, and the concept or the idea behind the word Achi. He said, let me just open that bracket. Your really brother, intended by the Torah, is the one who study, or whom you study the Torah with. That in itself, by implication, it means you may have a biological brother. You could be my fellow Jew, but if we are not engaging in Torah study, you are not my brother. God forbid that a Jew have forsaking the Torah or studying Torah, because the entire existence is a contingent to Torah study, nothing else. He led us to the concept of Hever. What is Hever? You know, there's a place in Africa called also Hebron. Hebron is a friend. But it's more, there is much more to that. To also mean a connection. What is this connection? Between a man and his fellow, it should be Torah. Between a man and his wife, that is the relationship. Yeah. If we are not engaging in our Torah, a serious student of Torah has got no time for you. Like myself, I truly have got no time for many things. Yeah. Because things are not the one that things could only connect it to me, and I could only connect it to things if it has got to do with the Torah. But anything is about the Torah. Yes, Sadiq Natalia, do you want to say something?
No, not if Rabbi there is standards. I might be offline some times.
Oh, okay.
Because there are times.
Okay, beside Toda. Okay, let's go to a passage that I have selected that commensurate with my introduction about the Zwama or colonialization or colonialism effect to me to be a Zwama in our mind. Rabbi Nechunia, at the very beginning of his book, again, it's not translated. Nechunia, at the very beginning of Sefer Priya, this rabbi, as a matter of fact, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Almost said something, but yeah. Best also in the future. Rabbi Nechunia is one of the Tanaim. The Tanaim were also called the Nevi'im, prophets. Why? Because among them there were prophets. My master said to us that he is the first Mekubal that we happen to know in our tradition. When I was studying about his encounter with Eliyahu Hanavi, I realized so many things about this level of existence. But that is not the point. Rabbi Nechunia started with only 3 words of the first verse of the first chapter of the first book called Bereshit. And they said, Bereshit bara Elokim. He ends there. And he was interrogating, what does all this mean? And they pick up one word. You pick up one word, and they said, Reshit. And I asked, what is Reshit? That's why you and I must be in a habit of asking questions. Excuse me, there are 2 approaches in asking questions. Torah is not academia. When the tzaddikim, when the giants of Torah were asking a question or questions, it's meaning asking each other questions. is not to dominate and is not to prove a point on the other one, which is opposite what the academia stands for. For me, in the academia world, for me to be seen that I am knowledgeable, I must be able to put the other fellow down. You can see in your justice system, the justice system of us. Okay, Sadeket, Natalia, we understand. Baruch Hashem, there is a thunder. I believe you must have given a blessing if that is your first time to hear the thunder. There is a blessing out. There is a blessing to recite. So according to Allah, you must have recited that. If you did not recite it, if you did not know, you needed to recite the bracha for having heard the thunder. Okay, Tov Meot, we continue. We continue. Rabbi Nechunia is asking, what is Reshit? Reshit. And he went on to dissect what each letter and the position of each letter is doing in the word Reshit. What is called first is called Reshit. Now, low system resources might affect. Okay. Okay. I don't know what it means, but I think I got an idea. Okay. And at the end, not at the end, and somewhere there, and he reverted back to the entire word called Bereshit. Now, my dear friend, those who in a different what is up in Southern Africa, particularly in Namibia and South Africa, you would remember we have been speaking about the word Bereshit, consists of 6 letters. Now, Rabbi Nechunia is expounding on the same idea. No. Pardon me. I was expounding on the idea of Rabbi Nechunia Hakane. And he said, on this group, I think there is also one Sadeket who did ask about Shabbat. What I have said a couple of months ago in one of those WhatsApp groups, I also mentioned that the word Shabbat, it's also found and is hidden in the word Bereshit. So Rabbi Nechunia Hakane went on to say, for example, if you remove Bet, Shin, and the last letter, meaning the first letter and the second letter, I mean, not the second letter, the first letter of the word Bereshit, and the last letter of the word Bereshit, and the middle letter called Shin, then you do have God. Of course, you have to arrange them. Then you have got the Shabbat. Now, what is left? Only 3 letters. What is left after you have taken those 3 letters that spells the name Shabbat? What is left? Only 3 letters. What are these 3 letters? Aleph, Yud, and Resh. And he developed that, and he explained about each one of these letters. Why this is leaning to this, and why that one is leaning to that. What a combination, if you combine this, meaning it could be, if you combine the letter Aleph and the Bet, what does it read? How is it read? It's Av. What if you combine the Bet and the Tav again? It will give you something, Bet. Rabbi Nehunia is going to explain it to us how to understand the Torah at the deepest level. It may not be the deepest, but it is deep. But I can guarantee you it's the deepest to many. I'm so privileged to come to that level to understand some of these things. And he went on to say, what does these 3 letters represent? These 2 letters, what do they represent? Why are they there for? He started explaining the Aleph. Aleph, I read it to our hearing. He said, Uvehasitelek Shabbat Mebereshit Yasha'al Ir Lomala Lecha Shegazer Aleph Lihioti Galut Aleph Mimitzrayim. Rabbi Nehunia here is telling us that if you, just the way I have explained, if you take the word the Shabbat from the Bereshit, what you have there, you are left with you are left with 3 letters. And this, Ir tells you, tells me, tells us that a decree was given that the Galut of Mitzrayim was to be the first, hinted by the letter Aleph. The letter Aleph is hinting to the first Galut. And we know, just as I have said at the beginning, that the Torah says, my people went into Mitzrayim to sojourn there. The Assyrians suppressed them, enslaved them, took their property, took their land, and they took their money. My fellow Africans, what do you have? What do you have? Yeah. This is not a propagation of unrest. It's for you to understand. It's for you to know better. It's for you to grow spiritually in every aspect of this level of existence. Yetzirah hara, what is called evil inclination, if you learn it, if you learn Torah, Yetzirah hara, all of the evil inclination become your friend. That is what I have learned. That is what we learn from my master. But if you do not learn Torah, it's unfortunate. You will always be at what is called lockerhead with the etc. You will never be engaged. Those who are owning your land right now, and the means of production in your land, if you do not know the basic principle of Torah. Let's go ahead. Now, in short, Rabbi Nechunia talking about Aleph. Now let's look at the remaining two letters, Yud and Resh. And he said, Resh and the Yud is not just a word. It's numbers. 210. It says Re, meaning that Resh and the Yud, Shana mitzat hanachash sheatil zuhama bechava. My dear good friend, what is the connection? What is the connection between the going out of the people and the zuhama, the filthiness that Nachash has cast or has inserted into Chava? What is the connection? "200 years from the serpent who cast the filth upon Eve." What is the connection? This is where I developed the idea that the Zuama, or the colonialism effect, is the Zuama in the mind of Bantu Israelites. Some of my fellow Jews do not want to hear the word Bantu Israelites. Yes, it's also an aspect of Zuama in that mindset. Yeah. You cannot disapprove the claim of others until you know them. But how do you know us? How do you know that, or how do you know this? Do you have to reject them in order to know them? That's why they are saying, there is no Torah in Africa. Says who? It says it does 210. What is really the correlation? What is the point here? Yeah. You see, the Nachash has inserted filthiness into Chava. Very, very deep concept. Now, when it comes to Mitzrayim, we know that we sank. we sank into the deepest of impurity, not the deepest. The sages are saying we have gone even to the 49 degree of these impurities. That's why a corresponding number has to be given. And this is about the counting of Omer. And equivalent stages, just as we have sung 49, so we have to go out by the same number, 49, in order to get the Torah. But as long as we are there, no. The children of Israel have been in Mitzrayim for 210 years. That corresponds exactly to what Nachash has done. Yeah. Now, coming back to Rabbi Nechunia, as we are drawing it closer to the end of our remote, the sages, the giants of Torah, you know, my master taught us the uniqueness of Torah. You may come to one of or listen to rabbis, different rabbis. May not be necessarily those of the chief rabbinate of Africa, looking at the same passage or the same pasuk of the Torah, and they give you another or a different view. Different view from what he deducted, from what he has deduced from that very, very pasuk, because there is no one interpretation of a word of Torah. Many, and the different levels of that interpretations. Beshalach, Parashat Beshalach, I selected one particular passage that commensurate or that corresponds to our discussion, our input on this platform. My questions that I have addressed at the very beginning. Vaishlach, and this is his explanation, Ari Kadosh. Dirush na me'iniyan Yitziat Mitzrayim. This is the explanation of the idea, the principle, or the aspect of going out of Mitzrayim. And there is where we will see whether this is negating tzaddik Kalomos understanding or observation, or is in support of his observation. Shehu, Ramez, and this is a hint. Going out of Mitzrayim, this is a hint to what? Shele Yetziat HaNeshama Min HaGuf. This is the hint of going out of the soul from the body. Now, this is a negation to our brothers and sisters in a religious world. Thinking that when you are saying it's a Holy Bible, it's what we understand to you. And you think now you want to educate a Jew about it. This is where you have put others to stake, thinking that your selected truth and your interpretation of the translated version of Torah is all that there is. The Torah here tells us that going out of Mitzrayim is a hint of the soul coming out of the body. Now, this is where Tzaddik Kalomo is now being confirmed to be a serious student of Torah. Not just simply reading, like many of us just reading. You know, in one of my yeshivot, I was in a class. It's the Gemara class. And there were two young guys. When the rabbi, I forgot him now, one of my rabbis, Rabbi Arian Weiss. I've heard that he's on retirement now. I wish him strength. He said the purpose of learning is not determined how eloquent you are in reading. It's not the purpose. But a few years later, probably 2 years later, I shifted to yeshivot. I come to Chief Rabbi Pinchas. Told me the same thing. Not because I was doing it. No, not because. No, that's not the right way to say. It's not out of me doing it, because I wasn't doing like that. But he realized that some of us were in the same thing, were caught. Like as they say it in Africa, if you don't speak, whether you don't speak English very well, you don't speak French very well, you don't speak Portuguese very well, no, you are not educated. A language becomes a yardstick to determine how educated or intelligent you are. It's a wrong perception. Again, colonial mindset or the colonial effect. Zuama. Zuama. Yeah. Having said that, we continue. Paro, het ha'am, hu חפצי הנשמה, מן הגוף שהוא פרעה מלך מצרים, העוף, bracket, שהוא קשי, עורף, והוא מולך הגוף, pardon me, והוא מולך בגוף שהוא מצרים. You see, this is what we have said. Here now Paro is being described as because like we have not a we. So the back of your neck is also called oref. So the same letters of the name Paro, the sage of the Torah, Ari Kadosh, is saying he rules the goof, he rules the body. He rules the body. Yeah. Welcome back, Tzedeket, Natalia. Yes, he rules the body. Do not look at Paro, because Paro is not a name. It's a title and it is a system. Yes, you look at your body, I look at my body, and we define according to what we see. The Torah negates that mindset. How do I know that? And where does the Torah negate that? The Torah negates that mindset to look at your body and say, it's me. Rabbi Chaim Vital, the only student of Ari Kadosh, said, remember, the Adam is a spirituality, and he was given a thing called the goof. The goof is just like any vessel to contain that thing, the neshama. But at the appointed, remember, this is a neshama. No way it says nefesh, no way it says here, no way it says ruach, but neshama. Now you can see Mitzrayim, it refers to the body. Do not read the Torah and say, oh no, the country. No, the Torah is allegory in this metaphor. We continue. The Choti Hatziar, Holichim Veradfim. No, I wanted to jump. Pardon me. Shehu HaNeshama. Ashira Leazika, Mipine Shehu, Tsiar. Vehu Holech Umesitin. Vehu Ba. But this is not where I wanted to ask you to come. Just a second for me. So where I have highlighted to enter this, what Ari Kadosh said here. Oh, okay. Now I remember. Pardon me. Now, my dear good friend, what keeps us desiring the body? That's also not me, despite it may suggest that I should despise the body. Khalila, don't. To despise the body is even a tragedy. Why? Because it corresponds to the limbs of the soul. It corresponds the limbs of the soul. Now, but why the body becomes a vehicle for the enslavement? Why? but the systems. I like what the world is saying outside there. Something that I have learned from my master as well. It looks, and they said, what is a dead body called? It's called a corpse. All the system, my dear good friend, all the system that you see in the world, for them to survive much more on one level, they must be able to use your body. They must be able to get hold of that thing called the goof. Arya Kadosh somewhere there also said, maybe not Arya Kadosh, but I'm too sure that if it is not Arya Kadosh, then it should be Ben Shchai. The body is the center of all inclinations. All inclinations, all the desires is in the body. Now the question is, where are these desires really coming from? Yes, there are desires that are being evoked, desires that are being created through you or I becoming in contact with certain things in life. We started now desiring this and that and that. And the system capitalize on this very, very, very much. The systems capitalize on these things. Let us visit Ben Shchai in order to conclude our limud. Ben Shchai, on the same pasha, Beshlach, Shana Shiniya. These are the laws that deal with the Shabbat. Soon, then later, we will study halachot. What do we need to do on every day? Right now, I started, my limud is much more to decolonize our mind. So in other words, to spiritualize where we have been despiritualized. Because a person who is despiritualized cannot receive Torah, would not be able to take Torah, to learn Torah, study Torah, and live Torah, because he is bombed, he is tossed about from one corner to another, and no rest. The system has got no pity. At the time it releases you, is when truly they're about to carry you, God, Hashkafah Shalom, to your home age. And without discovering as to why you were here. That is the system. Ben Shchai discusses the laws of Shabbat. And if I may ask my dear good friend, what do you do on Shabbat? Or what is Shabbat for you? Okay, maybe that's another question. Okay, let me leave about Shabbat. Why, for example, what is your purpose of eating on the course of, in the in the course of the day. I mean, not the day, the week. What is the purpose of eating in the course of the day? We do have God. Okay, I relate a sort of story again. My master taught us, and we are keeping on learning it at the different levels, of course. There are things that he reserved only for his rabbis. Many, and many things, really, and the deeper things. He said, when, for example, you see a person eat and immediately falls asleep, that means the food has eaten him or her. It's not him or her who ate the food. It's the opposite. Now, my question it was at the end of our remote for tonight, or for today, depends where you are, across the globe. What is the purpose of you eating in the course of the week? Some have got an understanding, to get energy. Some have got explanation or reasons. They said, no, so that I could do so that I survive. How could a person survive without eating? Some people have got those reasons. What is the purpose of you eating in the course of the week? Certainly, if we did not find that, and if we don't see anything, so certainly it would be also difficult as to why. What is the purpose of you eating on Shabbat? So that means, in the true sense, it's unfortunate. My sincere apology for probably harsh word to some. In a true sense, you did not discover as to why you are here. Just as I did not also discover why I'm here. And it's also possible that, well, there's no difference between a person of that nature and an animal, literally animal, that feeds itself to survive, and that is it. No, Ben Shai, the Torah is telling us this the purpose of eating either is on a week, during the course of the week, and the Shabbat. Vayomer Moshe, Achilu Hayom, Ki Bashabati Hayom, Ladonai. Hayom lo tamtiu basade. Moshe is telling us, not Moshe, because this is a quoted passage of the Torah, by Ben Shai. By Ben Shai. Ben Shai is telling us here, you remember, he was giving the law of Shabbat. He said, dear good friend, Vayomer Moshe, Achiluhu Hayom. Eat this. What is eat this? Eat. Yeah, meaning, the story. It tells us in Bamidbar, after they have left Mitzrayim, and they don't have food. And it was the only manna. Okay, there's a quote behind the word manna. My sincere apologies to the Kemet Court. There were some technicalities, technical problems. My sincere apology. Let us just recap so that we give a space to Chief Rabbi Pinchas for his limud. The purpose of eating, the Ben Ish Chai is telling us on Shabbat, we have got halacha that we don't separate things. We don't separate things that to say, I only wanted this one, or I don't need this one, but I needed that one. Like, for example, you don't change your clothes until they are soiled. But of course, there are so many things that could cause that. So Ben Ish Chai is telling us that the purpose of eating is for eating. That's what he says. So let me just get it to, Ben Ish Chai says, let me just read it and we go through it quickly. Hayom lo timtziu basade. And they said, get the food today, right? Get it today, and hayom lo mintzahu basade. You will not find it. Today you will find you. Today is Shabbat. But the point is, not the point. The sequence of the thing is, he told the people earlier on that they should collect the portion, double portion. One is for Friday and one is for Shabbat. But there were some people who were, they are not human weaknesses or human challenge, but they were disobedient. They were disobedient, just as like it is today. The chief rabbinate, the rabbis of the chief rabbinate of Africa, is saying it to us. He's saying it to Bandu Israelites. He's saying it to our fellow Jews across the world. No, for example, Shema Israel consists of 9 words. But wait, there are some of them who will say, no. You know, where did you get that? Where did you get that? All these years we know it only consists of 6 letters. Who are you now to tell us? Not letters, but words. Who are you to tell us today? No, we are, okay. Now they will scrutinize you. No, you are a convert, you are from Africa, you are this, or you are that. Okay. Now look at him, because he's looking for support, he's looking for financial assistance. No, we are not interested in that, my dear friend. If that is what you see, I'm sorry. So they were disobedient. There are those who were disobedient, hardliners, not hardliners. Like Paro, as the Arya Kadosh state, Kashi Oref, a stiff-necked person. You will not find it in the field. Today you will not find it. Today is Shabbat. Shabbat for Hashem. Shabbat to Hashem. It's not my Shabbat. Shabbat to Hashem. Shesh yamim taluketehu vechule. And they quoted a passage from Shemot 16. He says, on 6 days you shall collect 6 days from whatever the Torah says this should be, according to the chief rabbinate of Africa. We are following the tradition, not that we are negating the others. No, but we see it, we saw it. Now in ancient texts, that Rosh Chodesh, that is the beginning of calculation of Shabbat. Okay, it's not a matter of contention. Nireli Bishiata Dishmaya, Shiramezi man, no, pardon me, Shiramezi Khan, Ala Soti Perulu Shell, Nititot, Kedusha, Beadua. The main purpose of this, all this, is indicating, is all hinting to the secret of making a distinction, making it clear, or separating the aspect of Kedusha and the aspect of the opposite. That is the purpose of Shabbat. I mean, not of Shabbat, the purpose of eating. And he says, the Adua, it's known. And he gave a number of references. And the first references is Arya Kadosh on Share Amitzvot. Baruch Hashem, I didn't prepare it for today. Berul HaShabbat hu bechinat ochel batoch ochel. The aspect of making this clarification, is of Shabbat, or the clarification, the clarification. HaShabbat hu bechinat, it is the aspect of food from the food. What does that mean? Food from the food. Yes, because we are conditioned to think that in this level of existence, the thing that you see with your naked eyes is what people think is a food. It's unfortunate. It's not according to the level of Torah that the Chief Rabbinate of Africa teaches. We go further and then we go to the end. Veshel chol bechinat ochel betoch pesolet. But the eating, this is the idea, the eating during the course of the week, during the course of the week is in the aspect of the food from, or meaning the separate between the pisolet and the food. What is the difference? This is the difference. Not long ago, the Chief Rabbi of Africa gave a limud that we have been learning for many years now about Bet Peor. Yeah, the things we drop to the bathroom. Yeah, and the real food. What is the real food? What the body requires. And what are those? The Share Kedusha tells us that everything is a mixture. The things that you see, there are souls that are trapped in there. So this is the purpose of eating in the course of the week. But on Shabbat, it's not the case. We do not have those classifications. We don't choose what we do not want. For example, let me reduce it to halakha, despite that this is also halakha. On Shabbat, assume you have got a very nice, a pure plate, a very delicious dish. And while you are busy there, a fly comes and the land itself there. What would be the halakha? Do you take it? Well, it's landed there and they stuck there. What do you do? What do you do? But all this, my dear friend, it drives us to the three worlds. I mean, to the four worlds. When it comes to the three worlds called the world of Beria, the world of Yetzirah, the world of Asiya, according to the teaching, I'm making it fast so that we give a space. According to Ben Shai's teaching, and there is also one of our masters, this refers to the field. But when it comes to the world of Yetzirah, this is a food of food. Why? Because the three worlds, the world of Baria, the world of Yetzirah, and the world of Asiya, their survival, they got they received their vitality from that world called the world of Atzilut. May Hashem help us to study His Torah, to enable us to overcome the colonialism effect, which I associate with the Zwama in our mind. Any question before we close, my dear good friend? Don't worry. We Be'ezrat Hashem. The Torah cycles of learning the Torah according to the Pashiot, there will be a time we will revert to, revert, and come back to the same Pasha for reference. Don't worry that we did not finish, but I just give him not much, but the main focus of Ben Shai's teaching. And it is discussed about Shabbat. It goes back to what we started off. Rabbi Nehuni Hakane took the word Bereshit and deduced and dissected and discussed each letter of the word Bereshit. Any question, any contribution before we close, my dear good friends? So I guess not. Yes. Sadiq Kalomo, yes.
No, Chief Rabbi, no question. Thank you.
Baruch Hashem. Yeah, thank you once again. Thank you. Not to thank you, but not that. Before that, I wanted to extend my sincere appreciation to Chief Rabbi Pinchas for having given us the platform to study Torah. I wanted to thank the participant on Zoom, each one of us. I wanted to thank our viewers outside there for giving us your audience. Torah is compared to as an ocean. In a true sense, it does not have an end. It does not have any beginning. Generation of men to come and go. Some even will, not some, many of them and many of us does not take a single life to understand the depth of Torah. But once again, thank you very much for being with us in our limud. Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen ve'amen.
Amen.
Bye-bye tzadikim, tzadakot.
תודה רבה,
Bye-bye.
Chief Rabbi.
תודה רבה לכם.